wonder who was the first in history to record their voice and play it back, or who recorded the first song ever? Radio was the first electronic mass medium, or in other words, the first national broadcast medium. Young people's voices were heard through radio, which is why radio and recording music have been a major entertainment pleasure. When it all began in the 1890s, Guglielmo Marconi patented his invention of the radio. He is considered the father of radio and was the first person to ever send signals through the air. The more he experimented over time, he was able to send and receive telegraph codes over distances at almost 2 miles by the year 1896. The late 1800s wall devoted to the beginning of sound recording. Audio historians have a conflict with the actual roots of sound recording. Edward Leon Scott de Martinville was said to have recorded folk music on a phonograph in the year 1860. However, the famous Thomas Edison patented his invention, the talking machine. By 1903, the barretter came out by a man named Reginald Fessenden. The liquid barretter was the first audio device granting reception of wireless voices. His 1906 broadcast on Christmas Eve was received by many ships out sea and a few newspaper offices. Sometime later, the audition tube was invented by Lee de Forest, which improved and amplified wireless signals. German immigrant Emil Berliner came up with the gramophone. They used a flat, rotating, wax-coated disc that could easily be copied or pressed from a metal master. Two equally important contributions to recording made by Berliner were development of sophisticated microphone and the import from Europe of recordings by famous opera stars.
This is KDKA of the Westinghouse Electric and Manufacturing Company in East Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We shall now broadcast the election returns. We are receiving these returns through the cooperation and by special arrangements with the Pittsburgh Post and Sun. We'd appreciate it if anyone hearing this broadcast would communicate with us, as we are very anxious to know how far the broadcast is reaching and how it is being received.
Radio has evolved into streaming music, for instance, Pandora, iHeartRadio, and iTunes. The younger generation has been appealed by these newer radio sensations. Let's take a look at what our older generation thinks.
Half and half. I listen to a couple sports channels. I listen to news radio in the morning and coming home, KYW. And then I listen to 2-3 stations that focus on music.
And do you listen to streaming music?
Streaming as in I listen to my music on Amazon Cloud.
And do you think the radio has died down from when it first began?
And it hasn't died down, it's in a different form. So people are listening to online music and streaming music versus just hearing it straight from the radio. So it hasn't really died, it's just evolved over the years.
Today, radio remains extremely popular all over the world. Consumers can pay for premium satellite radio like Sirius XM, and there are a variety of other different radio stations to choose from. In the 8 years since Pandora launched, its music recommendation technology has evolved into a tightly woven blend of human and machine intelligence. Radio has transformed society 3 times, not to mention giving birth to the entire field of electronics. Perhaps no invention of modern times has developed so much while initially promising so little. When radio arrived, few thought that wireless communications in which intangible signals could be sent through the air over long distances would be competitive in a world dominated by telegraph and telephone. They were sure wrong.